Hi, today we are chatting to Enzo and Danni from Earnr App, and we're going to be talking, first part of our inspiration session series, about the Earnr App and how it can support you and making tax digital and moving forward with being totally unflappable when it comes to submitting those tax returns, which really throws a lot of people out at the start of the year, isn't it? In sort of January. So today, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We'd love to learn a little bit more about you and your app and how it will help our community. So if you'd like to just intro yourselves and then tell us about your app.
Yeah, of course. So we're Danny and I'm Enzo, and we work at Earnr. The Earnr is a companion app for side hustlers, sole traders, and small businesses. And what we do is we help you spend less time on admin by automating your tax return submission for you.
Brilliant. That was a really nice summed up sort of summary of what Earnr App does, which is really fantastic because there are lots of apps out there that can help people. But one thing that I think you guys are sort of really strong in is the community and the benefits to particularly sort of the small businesses, particularly like our community, and those even that are side hustlers as well, that have got a creative business alongside their other employment. So Danny, do you want to just share with us a little bit about the community side of things and how that runs alongside the app?
Yeah, I guess it's something that we've all always been passionate about. The founders and actually everyone who works in Earnr already has their own side hustle, so really knew quite a bit about it before building the app. And we also know that tax is just really complex and hard to understand. There's loads of jargon. So our kind of goal with it was to try and make it quite fun, make it easy to understand. So with that, we've been producing lots of content and actually engaging with our community. We've got a big kind of profile on Instagram where we speak and we share lessons on kind of tax and how it works, but also across our newsletter, which is a monthly newsletter where we share tips and tricks on demystifying tax, basically.
Yeah, we try and make it as fun as possible.
Yeah.
But it is still tax, so there's only so much we can do with it.
I love that. Exactly. Ace. Yeah, I know, that time when you come to submit your tax returns and you've just got a question, do I add this? Do I put this in? Having a community or people to ask is just probably totally invaluable. So tax is moving digital in the next few years. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that will impact people?
Yeah, of course. So HMRC and the UK government have decided to implement something called Making Tax Digital, or some people might know it as MTD. It has already been implemented for VAT. So if you do any VAT submissions, you're probably already aware that you need to make those more often, aka quarterly, than before. But starting from 2024, you also need to do the same things for your income tax. So rather than doing a tax return once a year, you need to start submitting forms to HMRC once a quarter. And you will need to do we need to do this via a website or via an app like Earnr. Not everybody has to do this, so only if you earn over a specific amount. At the moment, this is £10,000 a year, but this may still change in the next couple of years until it gets implemented.
Okay, so this is probably quite a scary prospect, the thought of having to do tax submissions 4 times a year instead of just once a year. But on the flip side of that, whilst they are making it that the fact that you've got to use an app, actually that helps you, doesn't it? Because that collates all the data and everything, and then brings it in, and you've just got to presumably submit the right sort of data and numbers into the right slots. So that's me simplifying it. So tell us a little bit more about how your product specifically would help the small businesses, the creative community, those that are side hustlers. What is it that your product's got that will help them?
Yeah, so I think the aim of Making Tax Digital is making sure that people report their income throughout the year rather than doing it once at the end and potentially having a really large tax bill that they can't immediately pay for. So they want you to report it quarterly, but to most people that already means like, oh God, I now need to do all these calculations every quarter. And that's kind of how we started with Earnr, in that when you download the app, we, rather than asking you to fill all this information in manually, we can actually connect your bank account to the app and tag all your transactions linked to your business within it, which we then use to pre-populate all this information for HMRC. You can use the app for free to do your bookkeeping, so make sure you have all your receipts throughout the year, any invoices you've created, again, any paperwork that you need to make sure you keep on top of your finances. And then when your tax return is due, so again, at the moment that's once a year, but starting from 2024, that will be 4 times a year. You can easily submit that directly to HMRC through us.
Okay, fab. Quick question then. Do they have to keep all their receipts? Should their receipts for everything be present, or whether it's a digital receipt or it's an actual physical receipt? And how long do they have to keep those receipts to justify the prices that they've put forward?
Yeah, so in terms of any paperwork, which includes receipts or invoices or sales or anything like that, you need to keep that for at least 5 years from your tax return submission. Now, HMRC only says that you need to have access to that. So you could have them all in a shoebox somewhere at the corner of the room, but there's always like a fear of, oh, do I really have everything that I need? We normally recommend people to actually go through your transactions and actually keep track of them, which ones relate to which one, which again, you can do in the Earnr app. But legally, the only thing you have to do is make sure you have access to them. So it doesn't have to be all in the same place.
Yeah. I got given a tip years ago when I first started out. It was like a little mini sort of course about business and keeping everything, your finances in order. So I don't know whether this is a good tip that people could use, but what they suggested was have envelopes with the months on, just so like January, February, whatever, all the way through the year. And so whenever you get a receipt, an actual paper receipt, just so you're not always having to, so you don't just pop it on the side and just ignore it. You just put it straight into that envelope, and then at the end, at least you have an envelope and you know that those equate for that month and so on. And actually, it was really good. It was really simple because I didn't feel like, oh, I've got to write it down, or I could just pop it in that envelope, and then I knew I could leave it for a little while and I'd still sort of have some kind of order. Don't know whether that's a little tip for people or not, but it definitely helped me with my organization, because then you can link it, can't you? I'm actually worse at it now when I go to the post office or whatever. Like this is, for them going to the post office and sending off their products, all those receipts that you have, and then you just stack them up. Just need to put them in the envelopes. Anyway, so we don't know whether that helps or not for some people.
Well, I think, there's no right or wrong way. Whatever works best for you, right? So we have people that log into our app every day, making sure they take a picture of the receipts like every single day because that's what works for them. We have some people that log in like once a month and do it all in one go. Like whatever works best for you would be my recommendation. So if letters every month in envelopes, like great, do that.
So Danny, who's in the community like that's there helping, who, say I've got a question this 1 month because something had cropped up and I just had a question. Where is the community based and who are they interacting with?
Yeah, we have a lot of places that people contact us. I mean, either across our social media, like I said, sort of on Instagram, they can DM us at any point. You might even speak to me or some of the other team members across both customer support and marketing. But we also have our amazing customer support team, and you can contact them literally about anything. They do rest and they do sleep, but they will answer your questions at kind of any time of day. So you can reach them either in app or you can send us an email. The idea being that, there are core places where we speak to customers, but, we know that people prefer different methods, so that they can contact us in any way.
Right. And they can stay in contact with you, can't they, via Instagram? So they need to go over and follow you. What's your handle on Instagram?
Yeah, so we're at Earnr App, no E in the last one.
And then also you've got a newsletter, haven't you, as well, which you obviously sending out useful content.
Yeah, we have a newsletter. We're doing lots more with it, which is really exciting. So often we'll put in guides and tips in there around tax and finance and actually more broadly speaking about being self-employed. And we often put in, we are bringing kind of more interviews and inspirational stuff from the community as well. So it's a great place to sort of stay on top with what's happening.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's get down to like submitting the tax return. Have you got any tips for the community about submitting a tax return, when to do it, how to do it, etc.?
Well, my first one would be that we're approaching the start of the next tax year, which will be from April the 6th this year. So a really big tip is to get ahead of the deadline and submit your tax return. You can submit it and then you have a whole year, or almost a year, until January to actually pay the tax bill. So it's really great if you don't want to spend a huge amount in one go. You can actually split those costs across the whole year, so it just gives you a lot more time. That would be mine.
Yeah, I think the one that I have, especially for those people that are just starting off, again, doing your tax return early so that you can actually potentially pay your tax bill through your employer. So again, if you are self-employed as well as employed, rather than paying one tax bill in one go, you pay it over 12 months, which again gives you more time to pay your tax bill, because again, we see with most of people in our community, when that tax bill hits, it's quite a big financial impact. Sometimes even you're not even making that much money off your business and you feel like, why am I even have to pay this? Just giving yourself a little more time to do that.
Brilliant. What about when to, so for those people that you've just mentioned that have just started up a business alongside their jobs, when they'll probably be really in the dark about when to actually submit, like when do they need to register that they're a business and they're going to be self-assessing, and any tips around that for them?
Yeah, so you don't need to register yourself as a sole trader or self-employed until you have at least £1,000 in sales. So this is not profit, this is just sales. That doesn't mean you have to pay tax at that point. It just means that you have to report it to HMRC. Now, we do also say for some people, even if you make less than £1,000, especially in your first year, but you've made some losses, again, you had to invest in certain clothing or certain instruments that you needed to run your business, then we also do suggest to actually submit your tax return, even if you don't legally have to, because any loss that you make in your first year can be offset by any profits you could potentially make in the next year. So that means that your tax bill is a better reflection of how much you've actually made from the business.
Okay, so that aside, that's a really great tip actually, just to submit regardless and offset those losses against your profit in future years. But what is there a sort of barrier, a minimum that they have to have earned before they do have to submit, or do they have to submit because they've made some kind of earnings?
So yeah, that's £1,000. So if you've made more than £1,000.
Right. Okay. Fabulous. So have you got any tips, any things that people forget to put into their tax returns that you could just remind people now to make sure they include?
Yeah, so we often actually see that a lot of people forget to put things like workwear. So anything that you've used or you've bought just to promote your brand or promote your new small business. If you've worked from home, you can include work from home expenses in that. So this can include like a certain portion of your rent or certain bills like internet bills. And something that we also often see people forget to put in their tax return because it has nothing to do with their small business is things like gift aid donations. So if you earn over a certain amount of money and you've given some money to charity, that can also impact your tax bill.
Right, fab. And then also things like software and subscriptions and things, subscriptions to Earnr App or subscriptions to Pedal, all of those things can offset against your profit. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people forget that you can include that as an expense because that is something that you use for your business and can have a better reflection of what your actual tax bill is.
Yeah, which is great. That's brilliant. It sums it up so nicely. In a second, I'm going to give you a minute just to sell sort of Earnr App to the community and why they should join you. I mean, from personal opinion, I mean, I've done tax on spreadsheets in the past, and I've just gone on to, I say, I can't work with you because you are specifically for sole traders and I run as a limited company. But in terms of using an app to keep all your data. It is invaluable. It also really helps. I found it really helped for like your KPIs, so your key performance indicators. I've spoken a little bit about this in the community. Just having some idea of what you're earning month on month and just being able to track it is just so important, more than just submitting your tax. It's really useful to you as a small business. So over to you. Why should they come to Earnr App over the other ones that are out there?
Do you want to answer this? Or,
I put you on the spot here.
No, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah,
so what makes Earnr App different from some of the other apps out there is that we really built everything at Earnr with sole traders in mind. So unfortunately, a lot of the other tools that are out there, like QuickBooks and Xero, they actually overcomplicate your finances and your taxes way more than it has to be. So we keep it very simple. We use words that you and I actually use day to day, rather than words that you probably have never heard about or only see once a year. And obviously, because of the community and the support that we give, we've had amazing feedback so far, and really have helped kind of hundreds, if not thousands, of people with their tax returns so far. And we hope that we can help you as well.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, we always hear it's the kind of thing that people find so stressful, and we always hear from our customers, we're trying to really create a way that is actually stress-free, and we always laugh about, maybe it being almost enjoyable. I'm not saying it's going to be enjoyable tax, but we're heading towards it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ace. Thank you so much. What I love about your company as well. I really like that the three founders, Enzo, you've been one of them, have come from a side hustler, a small business owner yourself, and you're not. I mean, I don't know what you are now, but you when you said like one of you was selling trainers, one selling art, one's like doing like Deliveroo or something, was it?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I did some delivery. I rent out my car.
Yeah, it's the fact that you've come from this background, and so you know what it feels like, and you know that overwhelm with tax, and you just all seem like really lovely people. And I know as a small business owner, it's really nice to work with people who are on the same page as you, which is really great. And also, aren't you one of 10 is it, I don't know, software that HMRC have agreed to work with specifically for this?
Yeah, we're one of 15. We're one of 15 companies that are working with HMRC to develop the Making Tax Digital proposition and make sure that it's as easy as possible for people when it actually gets implemented.
Yeah, which is brilliant to know that if you've started, you're still only so new, and to be working with HMRC on this is fantastic, and to know that offering's out there for sole traders. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me today. If anybody that watches this wants to head over, have a look at the comments on YouTube, and we'll put some links to the newsletter and various other things and how you can find these guys. And yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.